things started here in just a minute. After I pause my playbacks. Just get going here in just a second. This one. Say hello in the chats. Hello everyone. I guess I ended up being a couple minutes late. I realized my YouTube wasn't updated. Hello Beata. Hi DCD. Let's get going. I don't need to wait too long. Hello everybody, my name is Scott. I go by Tannewt online and this is Deep Dive. Deep Dive is a chance for us to show a longer form things that are happening in the CircuitPython world. I work on CircuitPython for Adafruit. So Adafruit is an open source hardware and software company based out of New York. You are on their channel on some streaming service. They do open source hardware and software. Did I say that? And they pay for me to work on the software side for CircuitPython. So CircuitPython is a version of Python that runs on microcontrollers. And I've been primarily focused on, this is the old revision. So this is not the new version, but this is an example of an Adafruit product that we are working on. This is the old revision of the Fruit Jam. And it's got a little tiny computer here called the microcontroller. And it runs CircuitPython kind of all on its own. So you edit a file, it parses it, it runs it. It shows up as a drive, CircuitPy, and all that. So if you want to support me, you can go to adafruit.com and purchase some of the hardware on there. Fruit Jam is not available yet, but it will be in the future. I am confident at saying that. Yeah, so I work remotely for Adafruit, so I am based in Seattle, not in New York City. And I stream regularly on Fridays. I was on vacation, although not the vacation I expected, for the last few weeks. So thanks to Tim for covering for me on Deep Dive. Tim's been a great alternate person to do deep dives. Tim goes by FoamyGuy, works for Adafruit as well, and does more like Python level stuff, and the stuff that he's doing is really cool. So thanks to Tim for filling in for me while I'm on vacation. In that vein, I am planning, I had my second kid in October, and I do have parental leave coming up at the start of May, so I will not be doing deep dives for a while starting in May. I don't actually know when I will start doing them again. So this is kind of like the home stretch before that leave happens. So should be here in April, like today, and then in April, but then in May, hopefully Tim will be able to cover for me. I haven't talked to him about it. So what is a deep dive? Deep dive is pretty much whatever I've been working on or whatever Tim's working on. It's a long form format. It's super chill. We tend to stream for 2 hours here, and we have the chats. We got the Discord chat here. And the YouTube chat here. I'm also watching the other chats through Restream off screen, but usually there's spam there, so I don't like to put that there anyway. But I'm happy to answer questions folks have. I usually work in the kind of C code that powers CircuitPython. So I'm happy to try to answer questions around that or just anything else. I'm happy to say I don't know if a question comes up that I don't know. So hello Mark, hello Paul, hello ADCC. Thanks for stopping by, and Beata I said hi to already. So what's my update? My Siri doesn't know what I'm talking about. What have I been up to? Well, I was supposed to go to Japan, which was my original vacation, but I got a stomach bug. Hello, Travis. Hello, DBD. Yeah, we were supposed to go to Japan, and I got a stomach flu within like 48 hours of when we were going to leave, which my partner had like the previous week. and it was not fun, but didn't last that long. So, but unfortunately, we didn't know how much the recovery would be and how long it would actually last, and we kind of had to make a decision. So we canceled our Japan trip, and we actually just did a California, San Diego Zoo, Legoland trip instead. That was only 5 days instead of 10. But that was fun, and I got back yesterday from that. So should be around the next few, like through May or through April, and then May I will be out. So I've been working on a few things. I was doing SD card mounting, auto mounting, and I did multi-LUN stuff as well. So I think it's plugged in right now. If we just look here, I showed this on Show and Tell. Sorry, let me go to the desktop. If we just look here, we can see that we have CircuitPython saves and CircuitPy. And then for me, if I click in the SD card, it might not be in this build, but it would show up as a third drive here. That is an appending PR that Dan's tested and said it doesn't work very well on Mac and Windows, so I've punted that until next week. I'm not going to worry about it. I have a 2-day week this week. My brain's not really thinking about it. Mark says, I feel you so much. I had to cancel trips like that before, plus been fighting stomach stuff all winter, I feel. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Usually it's just colds for us, but somehow we got a stomach thing, probably through daycare. So the other thing that I got nerd sniped. Timon's not here yet, and he might stop by later, but he totally nerd sniped me because I had been talking about the desire to support emojis on the Fruit Jam. And Timon, in the last deep dive I did, I think pointed out that LVGL had come up with like a custom binary font format that was like quite efficient for storing bitmap fonts. And it includes support of code points that are in the range that emojis are. So I went down this rabbit hole before I went on our trip, and it's been quite fun. And I've also been using LLM tools to really kind of speed me up. It seems to speed me up on this stuff too. So that should be an interesting thing that we can talk about today as well. So what I started with is So what I had in mind is that there's this Unifont thing, and Unifont is a font that's a bitmap font with the goal of covering all Unicode emojis, or all Unicode. And so you can see down here, this is, maybe I can make it bigger. So this is a big bitmap that you can find on their site that has all of these different emojis. Which is pretty cool. So I wanted to add the ability to CircuitPython to use these because we were making kind of a modern retro computer for the Fruit Jam. And so I thought emojis were the perfect modernization of some of the early 8-bit computers and the custom glyphs that they had for doing games and stuff. So So I went down that rabbit hole. The first thing I did, and I actually need to finish this, but there is a Adafruit CircuitPython bitmap font library, and I added support for loading the lvmfont binary format. And I actually did this, I think, mostly by hand. I did most of this mostly by hand to kind of like look at and understand the format. And it's much easier. It is quicker to iterate than like C code that you have to compile. And so this has been merged in. I do have a follow-up that adds support for more character map table formats. But yeah, so I've added this. And then I was like, I have this reference Python code now for loading the files. how do I bring that into CircuitPython? And that's when I started. So Lady Ada, the founder of Adafruit, has a video about using CLAUDE, which is a new tool that just came out in the last month or two. And the cool thing about it is that it can kind of iterate on its own. So it can make some changes and then like run a compilation command and then get the error message and then further make changes, which is pretty cool. So there's no like, it removes the need to like copy and paste error messages and stuff back and forth. So that was pretty neat. I started that. I said, hey, look at this library for how to load this file. And now, or I guess the first thing I said is like, hey, I'm going to make a new module. It's going to be lvmfont.io. So look at font.io and make a new version that's called lvmfont.io. So that like was pretty awesome. It just like filled all the template stuff in. And then I said, hey, now implement this stuff and reference this other thing, and here's the spec for the thing too. So it generated a lot of the file parsing code, and it got me going. And it only gets you so far as debugging, and then you have to like, there's a lot of debugging, and like I was doing a lot of code reviewing. What I'm finding is I'm doing a lot more code reviewing. Right now I actually have to fix builds. I've gone down this rabbit hole. It builds the Broadcom ones, build on my thing. It looks like we're actually using old GCC for our Broadcom builds, like from 2021. So it's crashing in CI, but not on my local one, because my local one has it up to date. It's kind of a pain. I'll probably fix that on Monday. That's not very interesting for me to work on now. Anyway, so let me show you what I've got working. So if we go to, let's see, can I do overhead? Yes. So it's kind of small. And I was testing, oh, I can make it bigger, sweet. So I have a new capture card for capturing CircuitPython. Let me just make it bigger. And so this should have better frame rate capturing and stuff for CircuitPython. So this is live output from my Fruit Jam, and the capture card I have now has passed through. You can't, I moved my camera so you can't see the TV, but the TV is next to me, and so if I look over, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that. So let's just open CircuitPy, and actually let's open with, I don't know why it's not asking me for, what's it called, Windsurf. So Windsurf is, oh, you can't see it now. Okay, let me search. So Windsurf here is it's a fork of VS Code that's created by a company called Codium, and it's like meant to integrate like the term is agentic coding thing. So on the right hand side is like this chat window, and then on the left side is kind of your normal like files that you're changing. So I'm just gonna delete all this and say print hello world, and we'll see that it changed. What screen dimensions are you using? So the HDMI is 720 by 400 here. So there you can see that hello world showed up. And now I'm going to go to my favorite, back to the desktop, and I really like Emojipedia, and I like the snake emoji. So I'm going to copy the snake emoji. I wish, you know, I use this enough I would almost pay for it. Almost, but maybe not. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print snake emoji, and I'm wondering if it's going to do that for me. So if we go to the overhead again, now we can see that we have hello world, and now we have the snake emoji. And we should be able to do pretty much all the emojis. So if folks have emojis that you like, drop them in the chat and I'll copy and paste them, and we can take a look. What did I have on? I like partypopper. So you could do partypopper. And sorry, I'm just copying emojis. I'm going to do partying face and hit save. And now we can see that we have the ta-da and the party popper there as well, or the thing there. So at the top, there's the snake and now a keyboard icon as well. So now there's a keyboard icon at the top. So these fonts are being loaded off the disk. So if we look in, let me pull up desktop again. If we look in my CircuitPy drive, now I have a fonts terminal.lv font bin, and it's 172K, which is really not that bad. And glyphs are being loaded as they're needed into RAM. So it has a big buffer. So it's not RAM efficient, but it's still not 170K's worth of RAM. I don't think. So it's loading the glyphs as it needs it, and then once it's loaded, it reuses it and does reference counting and all of that. Other cool things is that you'll see here, I actually have Japanese as well. So this is how folks will be able to use Terminal IO with languages that have a lot of characters, like Japanese, or Korean is another where apparently it's a combination of different portions of a letter, and like Unicode just like crosses them all out and splats them in there. So we could actually get Japanese and Korean working this way too, which would be very cool. We don't really have that working yet. I could show that. I don't know if anybody here cares. But the other thing that I did, because I went down this rabbit hole, is there's this thing called nerd fonts. I don't know if people use nerd fonts. But a nerd font is they've taken, there's an area of Unicode that's called private use area. And what they've done is they've taken sources for other characters, like weather icons and GitHub icons and font, like logos and material design stuff and code things, and they've squished them all together and they patch a bunch of fonts. But you can actually see they have different fonts that they've patched with the nerd font portions, but they also just have a symbols version. And so if we just want to say like, okay, I want weather, rain. So we can see that like here's a rain cloud, or copy the Unicode. So now if I go into my editor and I paste, oh, that's not what I wanted to copy. Copy the class name. Okay, so this font doesn't have it, but let's see if yeah, so now we can see that there's this fourth symbol here for rain. I should check out RooCode. You can use the free LLMs from OpenRouter with it. Windsurf is good, but the limits is hard to use daily. I'm paying for Windsurf Pro. Like with Claude, I started like paying for it, and it's just like it's like worth it to pay a little bit. I tried using the keyboard emoji in a label, but it does not render. I have the latest release of bitmap font. I don't know if changes are already fixed for that though. Which font were you using? There's two keyboard. Let me copy it. There's two different keyboards, and so if we look at Emojipedia again, I don't really like VSCode. That's part of why I'm like okay with Windsurf, and I actually like. So there's keyboard and wired keyboard. So if I copy keyboard and paste it in, and then I also do wired keyboard, I think it should be in both, or both should work. Nope, I'm only getting one of them. It looks like I'm only getting wired keyboard. I hit the Windsurf limit so fast on the Pro plan, like 2 to 3 weeks max. I main cursor instead for daily usage now. UI UX, I use Windsurf. To be fair, I didn't work all week this week, so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, so the one checked into the repo doesn't have the keyboard that is not in the keyboard that is in the low range. So if you're on Emojipedia, sorry, let me go back to the desktop. So what's the difference between the printed emojis and the ones in the status bar? So the ones in the status bar are like automatically printed by CircuitPython, and in fact, we've printed the snake out a long time. It's just that the built-in terminal didn't have the ability to print the snake. That's why if you use like a terminal that shows you the actual title bar, it will show, and you have a font with a snake in it, like then it will show up there. Maybe I could show you if I do TO and right up here, I don't know if it's pretty small, but there's a snake emoji and a keyboard emoji now. This is the state of, this is what the status bar is showing as well. We just didn't have the glyphs in it before. Why not just Control-Shift-V and click the emoji button and type an emoji you want? Because I'm just not used to doing it that way. I think it's actually, I was looking at this. I think it's meta period. Yeah, so meta period pulls up an emoji selector, and it just copies and pastes to your keyboard. So if I do that now, I go to the overhead. Now you can see I have a floppy disk there as well. Anyway, so I'm pretty excited about this. What I should talk about with Tim is that the sample, the ASCII emoji, oh, this is what I was talking about. So wired keyboard, if you look at technical information, is so it's 5 digits long and it's got a 1 at the start. That puts it in the second plane. I'm on Linux, on KDE. And then if you look at the first keyboard technical information, it's at 2328. And I guess it's 2 code points. We must ignore that one. But the 2328, so it's not in plane 1, it's in the first plane. So it's somewhere 23 is here. I see a printer. I don't know, I have trouble following this. Anyway, it's somewhere in here in these symbols, and the file that's checked into bitmap font only has ASCII and then the high emojis. It doesn't have all these symbols in the lower ranges. But I've created, well, with my AI friend, I've created the CircuitPython-font-generator. All of this is pretty much written by the AI. I just told it like, hey, reference these things and call this thing, and then like gave it further prompts about how to generate it. So it's taking Unifont, Unifont Upper, Unifont JP, and the symbols NerdFont, the mono version, and it's kind of squishing them all together to give us different different fonts for different languages. So we can see that like we map language codes to glyph ranges, and this was like all automatically generated. This reminds me of using the conversion of the key codes in JS for on-click events. It was a nightmare. And then we also add, there's an emoji Unicode ranges, which is the high ones, but also the low ones, 26 through 26FF. So it does look like that I'm not including the lower ranges in this. So I think, oh, I don't have another window open. Let's fix that. So let's do a new window. And I'm going to open the bitmap font, or not bitmap font, sorry. I'm going to open the font generator. Oh, come on, that's not what I want. Circuitpython-font-generator. So I wish, well, you know what? I just closed it. Unicode block character ranges. Latin extended. Geometric shapes, block elements, letter-like symbols. So let's just give this include Unicode symbol ranges in the emoji list. Want to be amazed? Use Gemini 2.5 Pro. I'm now on the Discord for Windsurf, and they ran out of things. Mahjong tiles, playing cards. And then the reason that I was doing Claude Code, but I moved to this is because I'm no longer writing a lot of code, I'm reviewing a lot of code. And by having it in Windsurf, it does this nice diff sort of thing and it allows me to like accept and reject. See, it's got miscellaneous symbols, but it was 2.3, I think, right? So we actually want miscellaneous technical as well. Yes, technical. I can't spell miscellaneous. Claude Code is so expensive. I don't know, like, I'm coming at, I don't know if you're a professional being paid to do this, but like, I'm coming from the perspective of somebody who gets paid to do this, and so I know what my hourly rate is. And the hourly rate I'm paying for like the AI stuff is just not that much. I mean, I'm not that having. Okay. Yeah. So now sort the ranges, split them onto separate lines. No, I mean, I'm totally open to this. I will take a look at RooCode because I think it's really interesting, right? Because the thing that you're using on your computer is responsible for what context you're giving the model. So yeah, I'll take a look at it for sure. There we go. That's what I want. Like, I think one thing that I could potentially see myself doing is actually doing two things at once. Like, if these responses were faster, which I guess your name is Dissect AI. But yeah, like if the responses were faster, it would be amazing. So include number forms and arrows and mathematical control pictures. Mathematical optical character recognition. Ooh, we want box drawing for sure. RooCode is so fast. Number forms. Arrows. I'll take a look at it. Not right now, but I'll take a look at it. One thing I haven't like fully understood is like how things change when I I mean, I've been really impressed. I'm still like been only using it a week or whatever. But I'm impressed enough that I'm like, it's interesting because I feel like I'm still programming, I'm just not typing it all out, right? Like, I'm taking my intents and I'm writing them out instead of like implementing them myself. Okay, so let's quit TO and move to Python font generator. I don't know what's going to happen when I move this. I guess we cache the CMap ranges, so so I'm going to run it, and I'll copy this over. Yeah, Dissect AI says, you're being an engineer and a supervisor. It's true. I think so. So the code review accept is integrated with Cascade. I thought you were accepting pull requests or something. No, so it's the diffs that are being generated by the Cascade. So the Cascade is the thing on the right, and you can hit open diff, and it will show you. And I've already accepted it. But yeah, so it's typo. Is it typo? No. I usually typo things out instead of copy and paste. Okay, so we generated it. Now let's delete this. I don't know if I'm going to crash it. We'll see. I think it has enough checking. Should we see what happens? So I think what happened is that it's cached everything. So what happens if I try to do another emoji that I haven't done before? It just doesn't show up, which is good. So I need to copy this font over. I'm still like so slow. Like this is something you could just tell it to do. Circuitpython-font-generator. I don't actually want it there. Now it's a little bit bigger, which is expected. Paste the file. And then rename it. Maybe not as involved on the side of many pies and stuff. Also, I used for AI machine vision products, but I had to upgrade because it was fast enough on CPU. Does Cascade learn when you reject a diff, or is it seeing your whole edit buffer? So there's definitely some sort of like Windsurf. So Windsurf is the full name. It's not clear to me. It's not clear to me if it gets that context or not. So we're only seeing one. So I'm gonna sync again, and I'll do TO. And now I'm gonna go into the REPL and do import supervisor. Supervisor reset terminal. And I think you have to give it the dimensions. Oh, interesting. So it wasn't showing me all of the characters. And in fact, now it's not working. So there may be a bug. There is likely a bug. So let's eject. I just want to see what happens when I do a restart. And see if it works. And you can't see it. Okay, so it did work on a restart. And we are getting both of the keyboard emojis now. This like basic, you can't see my mouse pointer, but the keyboard between the Cloud and the wired keyboard is the correct emoji from Unifont. So it's a little bit more obvious. Let me just show Claude. I don't know how many tokens I have left on Claude. But so one thing I haven't done, like there's a bunch of builds that don't work right now. So I've got to fix those for code size reasons. I was looking into using a local LLM, but I think the reality is that for the price of a GPU that could run it enough, I could just pay the providers, right? Like, I think the Claude Code interface does a little bit better job kind of showing you, does a better job showing you like what's happening. So one thing I did do is that right now I've hard-coded the file name. I mean, there's a bug here that I should probably fix too, but so I want to show Claude codes because it is just neat. Okay, so interesting. What's new? Quickly add to memory by starting your message with a hash. Web fetch tool is called view URLs to paste in, fix debug with JPEG detection. I have a 4090, you need like minimum A100 to get decent results and speed comparable. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The local stuff is just not gonna be comparable. But I also don't, like, you said it's so expensive, it doesn't feel, like I'm not using it enough that it feels super expensive yet. But I wanna say, use getenv to get a non-default value in place of fonts terminal.lvmfont. So that's all I'm going to say. And let's see what it does. Oh, for machine vision. So this lets you show, oh, you can't see, sorry. So this is Claude code. This is what got me kind of into it. So it's showing you that like, hey, I'm going to search for this pattern within your files. Oh, I found it in display.c. Now I'm going to snag some of the context. And now I'm going to figure out this OS.getM thing. I'm going to look here. I'm going to find, oh, there's like getM string. So this is it like reading files and trying to find like other examples to pull from. So now let me implement the solution by adding a getM functionality to check for a custom font path. So now it says use fatfs directly to check if the file exists. Here's my font path. Now I say if CircuitPy OS getM, we have a custom font path buffer, I guess. We read it, and then if it succeeds, then we set the font path there. Do you want to make this edit? Yes. RooCode is like Windsurf on steroids, I feel. Okay, well, I know what YouTube videos I'm gonna watch. If you have YouTubers that are good demonstrators of this, let me know, because I do like, I've been turning this on as I like do dishes. No, this is including a getm.c, and we definitely don't want to do that. So there I rejected it. But I don't, you say RooCode is just an extension, but I don't actually like VS Code. It's a VS Code extension, and I don't like VS Code. Like last time I tried stock VS Code. You may not have seen this, but I'm not a huge fan of VS Code. So I'm kind of like okay that Windsurf is like Windsurferizing it. So do a test build by moving to ports, Raspberry Pi, and calling, let me just find it in my history, make board Adafruit fruit jam. What do you bump into you that troubles you with VS Code? The constant pop-ups when you're getting started. It's like, oh, do you want to install this? Do you want to install that? And like Windsurf has been doing a little bit of that, but like this like not out of the box kind of just works sort of thing. Oh, look at this, and it's also saying like, here's how you set it in your settings. So let's see. Also document this new setting. Let's see if it can find where in the docs we document all of them. I keep reverting to Nano for my code editing needs. It's looking in RSTs. It found the file. Just a bit more polished. That's why I didn't like cursor. All right. Ta-da! Like, how cool is that? Like, yeah, it's like, it takes a little bit of time. Let's give it a shot. So let me load it and see if it actually works. I really gotta, I have to figure out how to get it like fully in the loop, because I do this like copy the build artifact over thing. So it has read access to all the files on your file system. It asks for access. So Claude by default will do it in the current working directory. And I think it had some notion of what that I had already given it approval for this subdirectory. And Windsurf will say like, hey, do you trust this code? Right? Because you're giving like human instructions, and it doesn't necessarily know the like difference between your instructions and the instructions in the code itself. So it does like make sure that you like, do you trust this code when you do it? In Claude, you can also do cost. And you can see, like for this, I've paid 50 cents for that. But like, how much time did I save typing all that stuff out? I don't know. I don't actually know. Okay, we've copied over. Things are showing up. I know you can't see it. Thank you for proving my point, person in Twitch chat about spammers. So now what I want to do is I want to pull up my settings.toml. And you know, let's do let's do the Japanese translation to show it off. Cursor, you can even add your own sources of docs to reference and download the docs to learn the newest and latest features. Yeah. Code for 55 hours a week. Yeah. I don't manage to code that much. I don't do that many hours. But yes, it's exciting. And I'm just, how long have you been doing it? Dissect AI. That's the question. Like, how long have you been using these tools? Because I like feel like I'm just starting to learn them, and like I can get things set up for like, I shouldn't have to teach it like how to do it. And in fact, can I go up to memorize it? Project memory local, user memory. Interesting. Cool. Yeah, so my issue with Claude is that like for large changes, is it easy to understand what's since 3.5 first drop, being constant learning and dealing more better and better models. I don't feel like I've been running up against models yet, the capabilities of models, but also I'm not there yet. Okay, so I'm gonna load the Japanese version because I kind of do want to show it. But this is a good test because I have the font file for Japanese still. Oh, it's raining outside and getting wet inside. Okay, so we're gonna copy it over. That's what one thing I need to figure out is how to hook it up actually to like copying and reading the serial output. I think that would be really cool. Okay, so if we look at the overhead now, or if we look at the output, we'll notice that like there's a lot of missing stuff. Like Adafruit CircuitPython's still there, the version's still there, but like code.py doesn't have any decoration around it. So this is because if we look at TO, and this is kind of like what we're targeting, right? So if we do that, now we're seeing a bunch of Japanese here. And so let's go into CircuitPy and we'll open settings.toml and we'll open it with, I don't know why it's, let's open it with Windsurf. And can we paste, actually, you know what? I think it told us how to do it, right? Like I just did this. Copy. So maybe something with our teardown is not working, but in Windsurf. And we want to use the JA one. Copy location. I feel like whenever I'm navigating now, I'm like moving so slow. And we don't need that. This part. Okay, so we set it to settings.toml. Now it's not restarted the terminal. But let's do what we did before. And it's gonna it slows down a little bit as it loads new glyphs. Like it's not super quick because it has to look in the whole file. Yeah, and reset terminal doesn't work. Darn. Thinking models seem to cause issues for me with coding. It often just starts doing what it wants. Reasoning thinking is great for complex code or planning out your structure. Simple changes, though, will start doing random stuff I didn't even think of. It has been interesting. There have been a number of times where I'm like, oh, yeah, I do need to do that. Windsurf is using Claude 3.5 right now. Oh, you know what? It did work. It's just it's starting fresh. So if I do Control D, looks like I crashed. Now maybe I crashed. So there's a bug here. So we still got to debug. Let's eject if we can. Yeah, it looks like it's unhappy. So I'm just going to hit the reset button, see if it comes up right. There we go. So switching is not working, but if you do it from a fresh start, it does work. I'll watch some videos about it. We'll see. How much debugging support do the AI tools provide? Insane amounts. I haven't seen anybody doing this with like separate devices. Right. Roo will iterate over all lint errors until it's done. Right. So Claude Code, if you teach it how to, this is kind of what I've been waiting for, is that if you teach it how to do a compile, like the compile worked the first time, but if it didn't, it would try to fix it, and that's really cool. It's really cool. So what do I want to do next? I've got an hour. I've got this bug where it doesn't work when I do the terminal reset. Fully automated filling machine. Filling machine or filing machine using Python. But yeah, if you want to write a simple script to do things, like, yeah, just tell it what you want. And then you tell it what you want, and you tell it what you want, and you tell it what you want. Yeah. So the emojis aren't working here. I want to turn on some debug prints. So I'm going to go back to Windsurf, I think. Because I like, what I find is that, like, I like Windsurf a bit more because it's easier for me to hop between, like, oh, I just want to make this change and make this bigger change. So 53 cents, I'm just gonna exit. and be done here. And it tells me again how much it cost, 50 cents, which I don't know how many minutes that is for me, but it's not very many. So I want to open Windsurf again, and I have to say that, sorry, I realize you're not seeing, I just realized you're not seeing the desktop. What was I going to say? I feel like this does need to be pretty large. I'm trying to just open a new window. I'm like such a noob. Okay. And it logged me in. It's trying to index everything, which is one of my complaints. These sorts of pop-ups are kind of like my complaints about my complaints about VS Code. Parent folders. Like, it's so clippy to me. It drives me a little nuts. Anyway, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to turn back on. So I have the way that I've been debugging this, because I don't want to spit characters out onto the terminal or onto over the USB, is I actually I have a separate UART serial converter here. So I'm going to go to Raspberry Pi boards, Adafruit, Fruit Jam, MP config board, and I'm just gonna uncomment this. And is that still the right pins? I don't know. Split view and split view again. This is my common setup here. It is cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sold on this stuff. Like, there's other things I want to do, like in LLVM land and stuff, that I'm like, oh, I think an LLM could actually help me like get it working better. Okay, so I'm gonna make it again with the console enabled and just see if it's on the right thing. So our stock font misses 425 characters. So the only way that you're going to get Japanese really showing on the screen is by using an on-disk font, is what I'm calling it. 2-year project, $56,000 machine. Okay. Yeah. So let's make sure we're ejected, which we are. Kind of want to figure out why we can't switch. It'd be nice if it means that I'm like not tearing down and creating again. So let's add some debugging statements. And we should see, yep, okay. Those are the right pins. We're getting some output. So by default, it mirrors, and I don't actually like that. So you can turn off the mirroring serial.c and not port serial, but console UART. If we do that, then it won't do that. And then here we want to what's interesting here is I'd actually like it to so this is a Windsurf thing as far as I know, and Dissect AI can tell me if RooCode, but so one thing that's showing up here is it's doing tab to jump. So it's trying to know where, it's trying to think ahead to what I'm going to change next and where I'm going to go. And it's right. Although now it jumped me somewhere where I didn't want to go. Because now we want to try it again. So basically, I want to, if the default path is still there, yeah, it even added a comment. We try it again. That's my next major refactor I need to do next is convert all my Python to C. They did a huge overhaul on their, I should probably try cursor too, on their tab completion for the AI haters, old school. Yeah. Well, what I found is that like, if the change that I want to make is small enough that it's quick for me to do it, then it doesn't make sense to go into chat mode. But if it's like something that's going to touch at least a few files, like it's definitely worth it. This doesn't, oh, I guess it's added there too. But. Okay, and now we want to, let's say, console UART, printf, custom font found, default font found, and then check for custom font. Init temp font. Port free. So this is interesting because it says, oh, this will, if LV font is not null, then we call port free. But we actually want to de-init it. It's guessing it's called deconstruct, but it's actually de-init. And then we free it. And I assume that, let's see, what does init LV font do? It always returns true. What? I guess we do that twice. Okay. It's guessing. If it's a repetitive change or simple edit, it's a waste of time to wait for the LLM to think. Even for the repetitive changes, I feel like I do it. Okay. So that might have been our problem. Do we have our, no. Let's do another J. Okay, that spins up. Copied over the new one that should hopefully tear down. So now it's telling me that it found a custom font. And now let's mount CircuitPy and copy fonts, Unifont 16 JA LV font bin to run media Tanute fonts. So it's a lot bigger. And we'll do a sync. Yeah, I know. Tried to find a video, but like all AI stuff, they have new releases basically daily. So everything is a week old, isn't relevant, or clickbait hype. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been finding for sure. And part of the reason I wanted to just show here is like, here's how I'm using it. So do I have settings.toml open again? I don't know. Helps to have my fingers in the right spot. And let's do, now they're in LV font. And it's not gonna know, it's not gonna restart, but it's like the U that it doesn't have or something. Okay, let's see what shows up here. So now it found it again. And we're not seeing anything. Did it? It's still responding, but nothing is showing. If I do, oh! That's not right. Well, it worked a little, I guess. Interesting. I've been getting some really great really great bugs with this work. So, what do we think this is? So I think maybe if we just switch it back and forth, we'll be able to test this. Okay, so let's go to on disk font and shared module. And I just want to show when we are Actually, I just want to make sure that we're initializing everything. Because it's totally possible that we're like deallocating and allocating. Is the repo open source? I'd send a screenshot to Claude and a code snippet you changed and ask. Yeah, this is all CircuitPython. It's all open source. But it did cross my mind of like give it a command that does the screenshot from the capture thing. I bet it's just uninitialized memory. So let's do a couple more console prints and so we free memory, code points, CMAP ranges. So I'm hoping we're not leaking anything. Bitmap buffer. Zero out the bitmap buffer. We do that. We zero out the reference counts. We zero out the code points. Or we do that. There's also CMAP. Let me just close this. Let's just find all of the allocated memories. Read each subtable. So we do set everything every time. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Cache space, so it is index 0. It doesn't do that anymore. Port malloc, tile grid tiles. Terminal construct. One thing this doesn't have, and I'm sure there's a way to do it, is yeah. Just from the screenshot. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching some of the like MCP sorts of things too to get an idea. It kind of looks to me like, I don't know what this issue is. Probably some value that we're not setting, not resetting. If lvfont we dinit Let's just do load glyph bitmap. I did have some stuff in here. An encoding or font loading issue. Yeah. I can think about it still. Like it's some state that's not being redone. All right. Well, that's why I think the MCP stuff is interesting. Is like, I don't want to have to copy and paste stuff into it. Like, but if it had the context of everything I was doing, like I could just say like, hey, I think it might be this. Right? Like the fact that I'm going to an outside terminal and even the terminal in Windsurf, if I were to use it, it doesn't get that context automatically, I don't think. Which I kind of want it to, right? Like I think the future is like it should actually have all of the context that I have. So I was thinking about this, so like it should know all the browser tabs I have open, right? Or like at least like allow list certain domains that it knows that I'm looking at, like docs.circuitpython.org, for example. But then again, like it could just reference that stuff itself. But yeah, like I said, like I'm just learning how to do this stuff. Okay. So it's loading code points. Oh, but it still didn't. Interesting that it it looks like it loaded in a different size. It's decided that it's bigger, like it's scaled up. And it's not doing full width. So let's go into the header here. Allocate bitmap. Bits per pixel. Get character ID. And I had prints for all this. Yeah, it's pretty up to date. That code is, yeah, if you want to try it. I wonder what size it is. Other advanced. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, on the purples anyway. Yeah, that's fine. So might throw it at Roo. Maybe. I still got to be here to press the button. Put it in bootloader mode. All right. Start up now. Yeah, it's 8 and... Okay, well. 8 and 16, which is right. This print is a red herring. Maybe we're more than 2 advances. I had a warning error in here before and removed it. Make sure and don't snag all the submodules because you'll download like gigabytes of Raspberry Pi stuff. I wonder if we should just delete that port. Probably. People do try to use it. The Broadcom Raspberry Pi single board computer port. So this code is, oh, see, default advanced width is 4. How is it coming up with that? Advanced 0 is 8 and advanced 1 is 16. But if advanced 0 is greater than advanced 1, then divide advanced 0 into the width. Otherwise, if advanced 1 is greater than advanced 0, then divide it down. Yeah. Make fetch all submodules will do a better job at getting you what you want. Oh, you know what this could be... I don't think we zero out the object itself. No, it would zero it out here, reading it from the header buffer. Anybody see what the error is? It could be a type error. Advanced count is size T. Oh. I'm doing it based on count. That's what the problem is. That's definitely the problem. Because I'm counting how many of each. I'm going through all the glyphs and I'm looking at the dimensions of all the glyphs. So by adding all the emoji, I must have like tipped the balance one way or the other for like which one has the most prevalence. Okay, I think that's gonna be our problem. Let's take a look. Interesting pattern. Oh, let me switch so we can see it come out. Hey, that's nice. Says no video. We got lots of snakes on this plane. It looks better. It is still not right. You know, I wonder, this is actually probably because we're not including ASCII. Right? So like, okay, let me see. Oh, interesting. Roo has a question. Auto approve. I need your answer to that. It's CircuitPython 10. It's the main branch, which is 10. It's on an RP2350 Fruit Jamboard. I'm not going to remote program for it through you. I appreciate you trying it, but that's not going to happen. Okay, so I think our issue is back with font generator, and that we still do want ASCII, because you know what ASCII has? It has spaces in it. So I think this is what's it's filling with a character because it doesn't have spaces. So let's open a new window and open our font generator again. And I'll go here, so I don't have to try to remember. We don't need settings up. Always include ASCII characters. Or Latin. Do. Chug, chug, chug. Like, can you imagine once this is like instantaneous? How awesome would that be? It would just be like, boop, add it all there. offers 4 suggestions. I can describe the expected emojis. All right, so now it adds Latin to Greek, Latin to Hindi, Latin to Japanese and Korean, and to Cyrillic. Okay, so I've accepted all those. And now I'm going to go back to my Python generate font. Gonna generate that font. Sorry. It takes a little while. The other thing I haven't tried yet that maybe I should is, well, Unifont doesn't do it, but this should, being the optimal word, support grayscale fonts. It should do 1, 2, and 4-bit fonts, I think. The files on the disk will be bigger, but I think the loading takes it into account. Okay, so let's do that, and we'll just copy it over again. What version is your CircuitPython 9.0? It's not released. It's brand new. We just marked it as 10. Like, it's bleeding edge CircuitPython. We're gonna call it 10 when it's released. Interesting to see how it responds here. So let's, so import supervisor doesn't show up on the screen. We deinitialized it, we created it, and we found our fonts. Control D, load, load, load. Hey, we're loading ASCII again. And it's slower because we're printing. This is a little bit slower than it would be. Great. That was our problem. Grayscale is an anti-aliasing, that's right. Should we try to be... The only thing that it will help with these fonts, well, Unifont is bitmap, it won't help that. The nerd fonts are actually not bitmap. So in theory, we could get anti-aliasing with those. I haven't tried it. We could. Yeah, so now we have Japanese and we have emojis. So we've actually made one fix to lvmfont.io. And we made a couple fixes to the font generator, which is good. I think it looks good. Let me show it on the full screen. So now we can see that we've got our ASCII for the title bar, and we've got the ASCII for a few things. For our hello world now shows up, and now all of our emoji does, in addition to having a space character and Japanese. So I guess the other test we could do is let's just open up our settings.toml, and I'm just going to switch it back to the one that doesn't have it. So I've changed settings.toml, and let's just see that see what happens here. So we deinitialized, and we found the code point again. And it is showing up. And if I hit Control D, apparently this font does have ASCII and Japanese in it. I don't think it's going to have, yeah, it doesn't have the emoji though. But it did switch okay. So that's good news. So let's commit this. commit it. And I will push it. And I don't know, I think I showed why I prefer Windsurf over Claude. Although I will just add it to the git ignore. Okay, so we added the docs. And we don't need the UR output anymore. This was the bug. So we're going to discard this. Oh, I discarded the whole thing. Darn it. I didn't discard lines. I discarded the whole thing. Okay. It's here, though. So, yeah, I really like Windsurf, too. Like, I changed one variable, and it guessed I wanted to change it in the other place, too, which is very cool. Which is like Dissect AI is saying is like, it's for those like autocomplete people like me that's just like dipping my toes in the water. This could be kind of cool. So this is the point where I'm going to delete the debug prints. So watch what it does. So I'm going to delete it here. And now it gives me a tab to jump. And I hit tab. And now it's proposing to delete the other printf. So I just do that. And I save it. Which just makes me so excited. I do a lot of printf debugging. And so like having it easier to remove is also very neat. Yeah, so we don't need the, for a while we just used to fill with 0, and now I've made it so it actually does the space character. And we're gonna discard this. Let's do one last test build. And I won't even do a debug build. That's how I started. I was scared of the automation. Now I know how to drive it. Yeah, I feel like I'm like, I'm like tooling around the parking lot. I haven't gone on the highway yet. I'm not driving in the busy city or parallel parking. I'm just like. So let me show. I think I got to figure out how to tell Windsurf like do a build and fix the error. Control L. Oh, I locked my screen. Or put it to sleep. Hopefully everything's still working. Control L doesn't. How do I turn it back on? Cascade. Okay. Do a build and fix the error. See, it should be able to remember like the context. I got to figure out where that is. Yeah, see, it's just running make. It doesn't know. Move to ports, Raspberry Pi, and do like I know how to fix this, but I just kind of want to show. How do I add it as a memory? That's the question. I know there's like something like that. Past conversations, additional options. So it got the error back. Oh, there's an unused variable. Blah, blah, blah. So now it says it's editing. Zero. And we can hit open diff, and now it's done it in the 3 places it needs to do it. Like, kind of simple. And it prompts me every time to run. And it built. Great. So now we found slot. Did I get rid of that debugging? Looks like I did. Yeah, at least turned it off. Let's take a look. I'll go back to the overhead. I like that it says no video. And it started up and it's quicker because it's not doing serial output. And if I open settings.toml again, and I do lvmfont, it doesn't know to restart. It does hitch a little bit when it loads new characters, but that's just the cost of loading things from the disk. All right, so we reset and we're running and we have emojis now. Clipper. It's asking questions I can't answer or test. Yeah, yeah, that's why I don't feel that worried about it. Like, I feel like I'm still much more knowledgeable than the LLM. I'm just not having to do the mechanics of changing the code, right? Like, it's all reviewing changes and giving like English language guidance about what to do next. Are we getting all our emojis? Save icon. Looks like it. Okay, so we can commit this. And I've just been amending it, so I'll amend it. It's funny for the linter to come along and be like, you got trailing spaces here. Oh, and you can't see my desktop. So has anybody else besides Dissect AI given this a shot? What's your impressions of it? Is RooCode the thing I gotta try? I have like heard of that name. I just haven't tried it. Partly because I want to pretend I'm not using vscode. Although it's kind of hard to do. I got to figure out how to do the memory thing. How do I do a Windsurf memory thing? View response, bad response. Chat, right? So you can like reference things. You can give an image. Copy command. If I thumbs up the error, do I remember it? No. How do I do? Serve memory. Cascade memories. Memories is the system for sharing and persisting context across conversations. Memories are automatically generated and rules are defined at the local and global levels. Create a memory of. Auto-generated memories do not consume credits. manage memories. Rules. Windsurf rules. Example rule templates. 6,000 characters each. Huh. Ah. Keep rules simple, concise, and specific. There's no need to add write good code. Bottom right click settings and enable fast autocomplete. Right, the context length. Memories for me haven't provided much value as they often remember project specifics. To try to do it to different. The one I'm mainly the main thing I want to do is like, here's how to build the thing I'm working on, just so I can say, just run a build. Right. If your window has multiple workspaces, Windsurf rules. Okay. So if I do like CircuitPython, create a file. Oh, not there. At the top level. Text file. Windsurf rules. Asking me where to do it. At the top level. Ah. My build system is Bazel. Okay. Okay, go away. Go away. Click to add this file to git ignore. Yes, please. Done. To do a test build. Insert directories. Can it read your build instructions and documentation? It doesn't, but that Claude does that when it does it originally. So if you look, there's a CLAUDE.md, and it does this like look for all the readmes and summarize that sort of thing to initialize its CLAUDE.md. But I don't think Windsurf did anything like that. So let's say save, and now let's go to Cascade with a new conversation, and maybe we just break something. Foo. Do a test build. Let's see if it works. It is like burning CPU time. Based on the user rules, I'll run the test build command. So yeah, that'll be helpful. Yeah, like it's basically mapping like English language to commands, which is pretty cool. Sure. Would you like me to fix it? Yeah, of course. Having it in that like build loop though, I'm very excited about. I think it's super helpful. Although I don't think you typo as much as like I typo things sometimes, but the AI I think is better at not typoing things. Yep, you're right. Now you're going to build again. I wish it was faster. I wish it was faster. Yay, it worked. Deep windsurf. Is there anything I can help you with? No, thanks. Stage. Stage. Still trying to get this happy. And then the font generator. Always include ASCII and more symbols. Not technically emoji. Gotta type my password, and now I can push it. Nope. Oh, I did it to Adafruit directly. DeepSurf v3. Cool. Although I feel like we could have common Windsurf rules that were checked in for doing stuff like that. But they would need to be written in a way where it's like doesn't need to know like how many CPUs you have, or instruct it to like see how many CPUs you have for parallelization. All right, so we've done that. We're doing this git push and force release. Yes, any other questions? DCD, what's the new capture card I got? So it's the XR1 Lite from EVGA. I did some research about this. This says it's $99, but I got it for $40 off Amazon. I think it's probably still $40. March 5th. Oh, it's not available from Amazon anymore. I wonder if they're coming out with a new one. Tim got one as well. But yeah, it was $40 when I bought it. Doesn't look like it's available. I think it was from Amazon too when I got it. I don't know if it's available still. What's it say? Do they have a newer version, a newer Lite? Newegg. Does Newegg have it? Yeah, it's $40 on Newegg. And it's back ordered. But yeah, $40 is a good deal. I was using the capture card from the store that's like $20. But it just didn't do, it doesn't work very well. It's only using HDMI 2 or USB 2. This one, this $20 one, doesn't work as well as the XR one. Yeah, Gemini 2.5 Pro. Yeah, I just like Windsurf ran up against their limits because Windsurf resells access I don't know. Maybe I should try. I'll try the other ones too, but I don't mind paying directly. But yeah, I haven't seen an announcement from them. I can look right now. Yeah, yesterday they say they got rate limited by Gemini 2.5. So we'll see. I don't see any other questions. Thank you all. I hope you're excited about this font stuff like I am. Seems to be working a little bit better. I can't, that count comparison. That's why you got to review your code. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining. This has been another deep dive with Scott. I'll be here for at least a few more weeks before I go on parental leave. GitHub has a model marketplace for GitHub Copilot. I haven't tried the Copilot yet. Open router, 0 rate limits, and RooCode has auto retire if it fails. I don't know what auto router is, so I'll have to take a look at that too. Thank you for the tips. Folks, let me know what you think. It's, yeah, pretty happy with Windsurf at the moment. I definitely will keep using it for sure. I'm excited about this. I've like lost the forest through the trees. I'm trying to get like push it over the finish line and get back to like what is the CircuitPython computer experience. So we'll get there. Anyway, if you want to support me, you can go to adafruit.com, purchase hardware there. They pay me to do this work. It's awesome, and they're wonderful. Use RooCode with Windsurf. I'll watch some YouTube videos on RooCode. I know a lot of stuff is out of date, but yeah, feedback for the folks doing this stuff. Like every time you make a change, make a short video about what the change is. Windsurf has some like big change videos that they do, but they don't do the small ones. Check out Circuitpython-font-generator. It's under Adafruit, and I just pushed a new version, and it auto builds. So, let me show you this one last thing. If you hit the GitHub Actions on the font generator and hit Details, and then go to the summary, you can see artifacts, and the artifacts is a zip file that has all of the generated fonts in it. I mean to add this as a like a release thing, but for now you can download them that way if you're interested. Anyway, thank you all. I think I'll be around next week. So thinking about it. I think I'll be around next week. I'll see you then. I'll see you on the Discords. URL for Discord is adafru.it/discord. Thank you all. Thank you, Dissect AI, for all the tips and tricks. I am excited to poke around at them. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk